Hi, it's Xavier, and today we're going to clean up my $50 bonsai challenge, this Vesuvian eruption, which is made from the Satsuki cuttings. And also, we're going to be having a little look at this Linden small leaf lime. Get the old leaves off, cut back to the buds I want for next spring, and set this up for something special in 2024. So if that sounds good, stay here, join me. Now, I'm sure you all remember when I first tried this back in 2022, and it was an absolute and utter failure. I think it died within 3 months. I made every mistake in the book, and I did it all because I got pressured by YouTube. Hopefully, I learnt my lessons, because this was the second go at it, which I did at the right time of the year, which was early this year, and I used my own Satsuki cuttings. Lovely, lovely green foliage. Very, very happy with it. But it's looking a bit manky, so to speak. Can I use that word, manky? I suppose I can. Mr. Tortoise here is struggling to get up the slope. My volcanic rocks are getting a little bit overgrown with weeds and stuff like that. Even my little fisherman, he hasn't got his rod in his hand anymore. Oh, little spider under there. There he goes. Okay, so I've taken all the weeds that amounted to that great big pile there. All the moss has come off, and at least now we can see how it sits in its display. I found out about the fisherman. He broke his hand, so obviously it was a big bite. Must have been looking for sharks. What I did find out, the trees, they're nicely secured in, so I'm very, very satisfied that the actual planting is taken. Only thing left to do, you can see there's a lot of yellowed leaves, so I'm going to be carefully just removing some of those. You can wait, they can drop as well, and clean it up that way, but I just want to keep this looking lovely and clean, to be honest. I will wait until we get into the early summer to see what I'm going to do pruning wise with it, but truthfully I just want this to continue to establish in the pot. What I am doing is just taking away from just around the junctions, and the other good reason to thin it out is we don't really want to get loads of spider webs and all sorts of things in here that can potentially add to health problems with this. Not to say spiders are an issue, of course. That root system is established. I'm really, really pleased. Really pleased. The one in the pot here, very solid as well. There's lots of places in here where there's junctions of 4, 5, 6, but my primary aim on year 1 was root growth. So I'm quite happy. I want to let those go. I'd love to get this height a lot more bushier, and I almost sort of see a bit like Nigel Saunders when he does his, not his baobabs, but or his cashew. He actually creates a whole top, and I want to do this time with these azaleas. Truthfully, is a $50 challenge that I think is just getting better and better. And can you imagine what it's going to be like covered in pink blooms sometime around June time? Not sure what's going to come from this, but haven't flowered yet. But what are they going to be, 4th year cuttings now? Can you imagine that? Just a whole sea of bloom over the top. And if you want to see something like that, well, you're just going to have to subscribe and hit notifications. If you hit notifications, I'll be able to put a message out and say, guess what, my $50 challenge, Vesuvian eruptive Azalea Penjing, is flowering, and you won't miss it. Must tell you, Satsuki Azalea, still young. It's quite a shallow pot, and as a precaution, this will spend the winter in the greenhouse. In fact, all my Satsuki Azaleas spend the winter in the greenhouse, and I find that come sort of February time, you get such a rich, deep green leaf colour. Certainly it worked last year, so that's where these will be stored over the winter. Well, from the relative calm of my Satsuki Azalea Penjing, well, I say calm, it was a Vesuvian eruption apparently, we're going to this small leaf lime, Linden, which I dug up from my usual place 4 years ago now. Terrible root systems to sort out, but part of me, that's growing on me. I'm sort of going mangrovey, swampy look on it. But the primary aim with here, this was a 6-foot tree. If you want to see more about this tree, I've got the link in the description, but there's also a link coming on up there. Leaves are falling, so what does that tell us? It tells us that we can quite happily do some pruning, and I certainly will be. The leaves should just come away in my handkerchief, and they do. So I'll come back to you when I've weeded it, got the leaves off, and show you what we're going to do. Very, very happy with where the different buds are, and again with the small leaf lime, you can always see these bright red buds. Easy to see where you're going to cut back to. Okay, so we've got a very, very nice demarcation line there where this cut has died back to, and now we've got a nice rolled over area there. So we're going to cut just above there and get rid of this stub. And for those of you waiting for me to actually get the saw to sink into my hand, clearly I'm going to do the rest of this off camera. And just the final vinegar stroke on it, so to speak. There we go. Now I've actually come up, I've got still good, probably nearly a centimetre there, so I could have gone in sharper on there. We clean our edges up. I've managed to get this all nicely cut, sealed over. And now what I'm going to do is go around and take the stuff off. Little bud points I don't want, something down here don't want, remove that. I'm actually going to remove bits and pieces on the trunk that I was healing last time. Here, that's still some of the old cut paste, so I can sort that out. Not sure about that yet. Again here, I'm literally just going to remove anything that's going up. Don't want those. And I'd rather not have that bud coming in towards. So that's going to have growth coming out that way. And I'm going to go around removing all those buds that I don't want. I'd rather not wire them because the linden is actually an ideal candidate for clip and grow. Now the example I talk about not wiring, this is fine, but we've got this one slowly extending up and up and up. Right here, there are two small buds. They're the ones I want that to come out horizontal. And that is the sort of pruning decisions. Great thing about these, they back bud absolutely profusely everywhere, so even if you muck it up, you know you're going to get buds back on them. And again, bear in mind we always need to think about taper. We've got this branch coming out, it goes into two, and then divides again up here. We get an upper and a lower. But here, this is quite a long length here, where we're really, if you look at what's here, you want a lot thinner. So I'm actually looking at this and going, do I really want all this here? I could actually remove that entire branch and regrow from here. Because if I have a look, I've got a bud here, so I could start from there, but even so, the thickness is not really what I want. Now I know if I cut here, I'll also get buds from there, but I'm inclined to cut right back here. Not overboard on the way this is going up, and this is where you do start finding yourself going for wire. Even now I'm looking at it and going, do you know what, that could look better if it's wired. I just like, if I twist that round, I can get really nice, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. See if we can create a bit of a mess, I don't know. Around the front's going to be in there. We've created some movement in and out and down and around. And as I say, there's so many buds that, you know, I'll be able to cut back at different points. And just this one at the back here, again, just put a bit of movement into it. Okay, so that's all done. As you can see, pruned back pretty well to just single bud pairs. And there's a lot of really micro smaller ones that I can see, and some of them I've actually pruned back to those. Yeah, and I think really it's just going to continue to thrive. They're such a hardy plant, and again, it's another one of those ones for a learner. Get yourself a small leaf lime, linden, brilliant to work with, very, very hardy as well. This will sit outside, bottom of the garden, next to loads of other winter hardy trees. Could I do this in spring? Exactly the same operation? Of course I could. You know I do wire in the autumn because I'll take it off in the early spring, especially with these. These grow so profusely that that wire will scar if you leave it through that April, early May time. So yeah, that'll be my preference. Next time we'll see this, probably post-flush hardened pruning sometime near the end of May. I've got a long time still to go, and I am going to have to explore why on earth I've got a rock down in the roots. It's definitely not roots on rock. So from Xavier, two entirely different things from what we have been doing recently. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, a big like. And if you want to get any notifications about upcoming plans and future, I am going to be doing more community posts, so please hit the ding ding bell, because the worst that can happen is you'll get notified in your feed and you can ignore it, like my wife used to do to me. Anyway, from Xavier, happy bonsai and God bless. Cheers.